I almost lost a testicle while my girlfriend ignored my cries for help, laughed at my agony, and blocked me so she could continue clubbing. Now, she's pleading for another chance. We've been together for 5 years, dating since high school. I always saw her as my future wife and even bought a ring, planning to propose soon. Last weekend was her best friend's birthday, and they booked a private lounge at a club. I didn't go, partly because I wasn't invited and also because I dislike clubbing. I was actually looking forward to a quiet evening alone, maybe watching Netflix. She left around 9 p.m., and I settled on the couch, watching YouTube. A couple of hours later, I started feeling a sharp pain in my stomach, similar to being kicked in the groin. At first, I thought it was just a passing discomfort, but the pain kept escalating until I was curled up on the couch, unable to move. I hoped the pain would subside, but when I checked, my right testicle was swelling. I tried to stand and get my phone but collapsed in agony. The pain was excruciating, like getting hit repeatedly in the groin. I managed to crawl to the table and grab my phone. I called my girlfriend, but she declined. I texted her, explaining that something was seriously wrong and asking her to come home. The club was only a 5-minute walk away. After sending the message, I began vomiting from the pain. After a minute of throwing up, the pain lessened slightly, and I checked my phone. She had responded with, "What is it?" I called her again, but she declined. I texted that I needed to go to the hospital immediately. She asked why, and I replied, "My balls hurt." I called emergency services, explaining my situation. The operator asked if someone could drive me to the hospital, and I foolishly said yes, thinking my girlfriend would come home soon. I felt embarrassed to call an ambulance over testicle pain. The operator said she would check back in 10 minutes to ensure I was on my way to the hospital. I put the phone down and vomited on the carpet again. When the pain eased a bit, I checked my phone and saw that she had responded with laughing emojis. I tried calling her again, but she declined. She texted that it wasn't the time to joke and warned me she'd block me if I kept calling. When I called again, I realized she had actually blocked me. Shivering on the floor, I finally called emergency services back and asked for an ambulance. It felt like forever, but they eventually arrived and rushed me to the hospital. I barely remember the surgery due to sedation, but when I woke up, I saw my right testicle being stitched up. The doctor told me I had testicular torsion and was lucky to make it in time. If I hadn't, I could have lost the testicle. I checked my phone and saw missed calls and messages from my girlfriend. She had returned home from the club, smelled the vomit, and realized something was wrong when she couldn't find me. Only then did she take my messages seriously. I texted her the hospital and room number before falling asleep. The next morning, I woke up to find her sleeping on a couch next to my bed. When she woke up, she apologized profusely, saying she thought I was joking and trying to ruin her night. I was too exhausted to argue, but I was deeply hurt and wanted to break up with her right then. How could she ignore my desperate messages? And she didn't even consider checking on me until she got home at 3 a.m. She stayed with me at the hospital for the remaining 2 days and took good care of me, but I'm still furious. Since coming home yesterday, I've been torn about breaking up with her. Part of me thinks she genuinely thought I was joking and made a mistake, but I'm conflicted and unsure how to move forward. Would breaking up be an overreaction? How should I handle this situation? For the record, I've never had an issue with her going out or played pranks before. I appreciate all the support, I'm overwhelmed by it. Comments. Poncho 254, this is a weird one. If someone texts me saying they need to go to the hospital because their balls hurt, I'd think they were out of their mind. If they text me saying they're in excruciating pain, vomiting on the floor, and feeling like their balls are being ripped from their body, I'd be there in minutes. Local record 777, NTA. Not walking a total of 10 minutes to check on your so after receiving their texts is nuts, unless you've cried wolf before. Edit, I'm not insinuating it was a recurring event. I don't condone drunk driving. Walking to check on OP was what I meant. Setter Wind 8500, even if she thought you were joking, you deserved a phone call. Your partner should be worried about you, rather than thinking you're ruining their night. She could have called to confirm if something was wrong. I would seriously consider if you want to continue this relationship. She prioritized partying over a phone call from the hospital, still blocked you, and was planning on yelling about the vomiting. I wish you well in your healing. Low beams, former paramedic here. When you're in that level of pain, don't call your girlfriend, call emergency services. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. Oh, an NTA, but your GF is. They have a strong disconnect in communication styles. If they get married without figuring it out, they're going to blame each other. What is her communication style in this scenario? I don't think there's enough info on how they communicate. My wife absolutely would laugh at me if I said my balls hurt, but would also drop everything if I told her I was serious. If OP has never had an emergency in this relationship, especially being so young, it's not unreasonable to assume their GF thought it was a joke. This can be an excellent moment for discussion. OP, she did stay by you and clearly feels awful about her initial reaction. You never need a reason to end a relationship, but if you have a desire to stay, use this as a chance to set up clearer communication. Jokes are well and good, but blocking is too far. Going forward, that also means when you are joking, you need clarity on what's too far, so blocking isn't required. NTA. Sorry someone cast testicular torsion on you. Update. First of all, I just want to thank all of you for the amazing support. It's been quite overwhelming, to be honest. I have so many unread messages, so please give me some time. I promise I'll respond to all of them. First of all, I would like to clear up some misconceptions brewing in the comments section of my last post. No, I have never pulled any malicious pranks on my girlfriend to get her to come home early from a night out or anything like that. Neither do I have an issue with her going out as long as she doesn't come home at 6 a.m. No, I've never blown up her phone while she was out with friends. We usually go out together since we share the same friend groups. Here are my messages and hers from WhatsApp in order, as people thought I just texted her my balls hurt or something. Me, decline my first 2 calls. Her, name, please come home, something is wrong. Me, can't talk right now, what is it? Me, tried calling her again. I need to go to the hospital. Her, what? Me, tried calling her twice. Me, my balls hurt, please come now, something is wrong. Her, laughing emojis. Me, tried calling her again twice after calling emergency services. Her, I swear, don't bother me again or I'm blocking you. Let me enjoy my night out. Me, tried calling her again twice and got blocked. At this point, the pain was too bad to try anything with her anymore, and I just called an ambulance. Her, next message after unblocking me at 2 a.m. Why the hell is there vomit in the living room and where the hell are you? Why is the front door unlocked if you left somewhere? She then went into a full mental breakdown as she realized I was being serious about going to the hospital, sending over 70 messages. Yes, it was stupid of me to expect her to drive me to the hospital since she was drinking, but in that type of pain, you don't think clearly. I think I needed her more for moral support and acted out of pure instinct. Not immediately calling an ambulance was also stupid of me. I was in a lot of pain but thought, at the time, that whatever I was going through would eventually calm down and driving to the hospital would be better than calling an ambulance. Also, in hindsight, being embarrassed about calling an ambulance for my balls was definitely really stupid. The amount of mental gymnastics some of you did in my comments to paint me as some sort of dweeb or emotionally needy person for bothering my girlfriend was truly mind-blowing. I promise you, if my girlfriend were in my position and I ignored her, none of you would be defending me now. For the update, thank you to everyone who wished me a speedy recovery. I'm doing much better now. Not being able to go to work for the next 3 weeks is definitely a bummer. I work for my dad's construction company, and my job requires lifting a lot of heavy weights. I'm also prohibited from having any sex for the next 2 to 3 weeks as well. I might have also developed some trauma due to the pain. I randomly get the same sensation again, and it's driving me nuts. As for me and my girlfriend, it's complicated. As so many of you and my mom told me, 5 years is definitely a long time to just throw away without having a proper conversation with her. So, I did just that. I told her how hurt I felt by everything, including her ignoring my messages and declining my calls. Yes, clubs are loud, but where I'm from, there are smoking areas where you can definitely have a conversation over the phone. Blocking me after. I tried calling her, but she never checked on me once, even though the club she went to is only a 5-minute walk from our apartment. Instead of being concerned about the vomit, she got defensive and told me that I could have conveyed my situation better. She genuinely thought I was joking. She was drunk and wasn't thinking clearly. She also told me that it couldn't have been that painful and that I was over-exaggerating. I then told her that, yes, I could have phrased my messages better, and I apologized for that. However, I described the pain I was in and told her that I barely had the strength to text her, let alone send her a detailed description of what was happening to me. I definitely couldn't think straight throughout everything. After hearing what I said, she started crying and apologizing for what she did. She told me that if she had known how serious it was, we wouldn't have been having this conversation. She then also apologized for being mad about the vomit. According to her, she was drunk and tired and was just expressing frustration. I then asked her why she thought I was joking and if she was cheating on me, because this behavior was seriously out of character for her. I needed to understand why this happened and why I should trust her. She started crying harder, looking like I had slapped her in the face. She told me that she just thought I was being insecure about her being in the club with a bunch of guys, and no, she wasn't cheating on me and would never do something like that. We then hugged for a solid 10 minutes. After that, I told her that I needed some space to gather my thoughts and that she needed to stay with her parents for the time being. She immediately started having a mental breakdown and asked if I was breaking up with her. I told her I wasn't sure and needed time to see if I still trusted her after all of this. What she did was beyond disrespectful. How could I trust someone with my life after they pulled something like this? I then told her that we are young and that this mess was mostly caused by our immaturity. This entire situation was an important life lesson for both of us, regardless of whether we stayed together. After begging a bit more, she put her head down and started packing a few essentials before leaving. She told me she would be willing to do anything to make up for this and that I could take as much time as I needed. I needed her, then she gave me a big kiss and left. That was 2 days ago, and this is where we currently stand. I still give her updates on my healing, but besides that, we don't contact each other. I'm really torn right now. I still don't have that trust in her, but her owning up to her mistake shows that she knows she messed up and is remorseful. This is definitely something out of the ordinary for her, but there will have to be major boundaries and new rules set. I can think of the following. If she blocks me again for anything, it equals blocking herself from ever seeing me again. Ignoring my messages will not be tolerated anymore. If she goes out alone again, she has to pick up if I call, regardless of the situation. As many of you suggested, having an emergency code, like hospital or something similar, would probably need to be implemented. I'm not going to abuse any of these boundaries, but I just want peace of mind knowing that my partner has my best interest at heart, even when she is physically not around me. Again, I just want to thank you guys for everything. This whole experience was definitely an eye-opener for me. Should I get back together with her? If so, would my demands be reasonable, and could I add anything more? What if I ended it over this whole saga? Comments like timing doesn't mean you need to stay with someone, that just delays the ending make me wonder. If you think you can't get past not trusting her, you wouldn't be wrong to end it. On the other hand, you wouldn't be wrong if you decided to give it a go. You need to follow your gut. Personally, I would have a hard time getting past someone blocking me when we are in a relationship. That level of pettiness would be too much for me. To me, it does not imply a partnership, and I need a partnership with my significant other. This October will mark my 30th wedding anniversary. If my partner blocked me or did not pick up when I made multiple calls, that would be a broken trust, and I'm not sure I would be able to get past that. When I woke up in the middle of the night in pain, my partner, even though it was 9 a.m. for him and he had to get up for work at 5 a.m., dropped everything to help me. He drove me to the hospital, called my parents for me, explained what had been going on to the doctors, advocated for me to get pain meds, and stayed with me the entire time. That's what a caring partner should do. If a partner doesn't help, maybe they can't. If my partner even called me twice in a row, I would drop everything to answer or call back, no matter the reason. I can't. I'll text him. Your partner is a million red flags disguised as a human, I think. White core comment, 381. But also, I would never be able to recover from this if it happened to me. You were having a medical emergency, and she's still trying to blame you for not communicating clearly. Now, on to the next story. Story 2. I discovered that my long-distance girlfriend of a year was married the whole time. So, I met with her husband, exposed the affair, and got revenge. About a year ago, I, 29 male, met a woman, 31 female, at a conference in Baltimore. I was only there for work and wasn't expecting our night together to evolve into anything else, but we hit it off. After hooking up for the first time during the conference, we exchanged numbers and kept in touch. We lived about an hour away from each other, so it wasn't far enough to completely rule out a long-distance relationship. We didn't get to see each other often, but we would text and chat when we were both available. About once or twice a month, she would visit me in the city, and we would go out together. I loved seeing her, we had a wonderful connection, and I really felt like our relationship could go somewhere. However, in hindsight, I realized that I was putting more into the relationship than she was. I didn't think much about our relationship until I was talking to a friend about us. I explained how my girlfriend would visit me, but I almost never visited her. Just to clarify, it wasn't for lack of trying. I had been vocal about wanting to travel to her apartment and meet her friends. My friend was a little weirded out by that. She said it was odd that my girlfriend didn't want me to visit her, but at the same time, my friend is the type of person who listens to a lot of true crime and watches too much TV. We both kind of laughed it off, like she was assuming there was something more going on, but our conversation did get me thinking. I thought I knew my girlfriend from the conversations we had, but it was all surface level. I knew what TV shows and books she liked, but I didn't know anything about her family. The next time I talked to her on the phone, I asked her more about herself. I wasn't asking in a way to accuse her of anything, but I genuinely wanted to learn more about her because I saw a future with her. She just told me that there wasn't much to talk about. She gave me a short story about being an only child and her parents having passed away. It made sense that if she didn't have any family around, she wouldn't bring it up, so I moved on. Months passed in our relationship, and she still didn't want me to come visit her. It was difficult for me because I really wanted to meet her friends. By that point, she had met a few of mine, and they really liked her. I wanted to see the city she lived in because I was considering suggesting that we move in together. No matter how many times I asked, she always shut down the idea of me visiting. I didn't think much about it at the time, but all of our conversations were very sexual. Whenever we would be together, we would go to dinner or a bar, then go right back to my apartment and sleep together. I kind of just thought it was because we were apart for so long, but after a while, the lack of depth in our conversations was getting to me. I was talking to another friend about her, just venting some of my frustrations, and he mentioned that I might be a side piece. I was very shocked to hear that and honestly kind of hurt. At the time, I felt like I had something special with her, and hearing that it might have been less than I thought was awful. He pointed out all of the facts and told me that if she's being very secretive about her life, it probably means there's something she doesn't want me to know. That thing might have been that she had a partner, possibly family. I couldn't believe that. There was no chance in hell that was the case. I actually got kind of mad at my friend for even suggesting that. I went home and stewed on it for a while. When my anger subsided, I started to see some merit in the point he was making. I went online to read other stories about people who unknowingly slept with someone committed, and many of their circumstances aligned with mine. Early in the relationship, I had asked my girlfriend for her social media so we could add each other, but she told me she didn't have any. She went on about how vile she thought social media was, so I believed her. However, after searching online, I found her profiles. She had lied about not having social media so she wouldn't have to add me. When I clicked on the Facebook link from Google, I realized that I was blocked. She was definitely trying to hide something from me. I made a fake account and searched for her again, just to see for myself what she was hiding. From the public view of her profile, I could see that she was married and appeared to be happy. There was a young child in a few of the photos, but I didn't know if it was hers. I found her husband's name through her profile and started looking at his. From what I could gather, they had been together since high school. I had my suspicion something was going on, and I finally had an answer. Honestly, I kind of regretted looking into it. Before that, I had a great relationship with someone I didn't feel guilty about. After discovering the truth, I couldn't help but feel like I was a bad person. I knew that I was unaware of her family, but I was still sleeping with her. I immediately decided to end everything with her, but it didn't feel right to let her get away with cheating. I needed to think of a way to tell her husband and also teach her a lesson about what she did. Through his social media, I could tell that her husband was a realtor. I reached out to him and set up a meeting under the pretense of being interested in buying a house, but that was a lie. I made sure our meeting was during a time when my girlfriend wasn't at home because I didn't want her to find out. When the time for the meeting came, we spent a few minutes chatting while I tried to decide if I actually had the nerve to tell him everything. I didn't know if it would be the end of their marriage, but I hoped it would be because she had betrayed him by being with me. After a few minutes, I confessed that I wasn't there to buy a house. I told him about how I met his wife and the affair that ensued, making sure he knew I knew nothing about him or his family. He was just as stunned by the news as I was. Then he dropped another bombshell on me. Apparently, she had been working weekends every week, claiming it was only temporary while she onboarded and trained new managers. When I revealed our relationship to him, he implied that she was spending those weekends with me, but that wasn't true. I started to wonder if she was seeing someone else, considering I only saw her once or twice a month. I sent him several screenshots and videos of our conversations. I felt awful as he read them in front of me. He said he needed time to figure out what to do with the information and thanked me for being honest. After our talk, I felt sick to my stomach for the rest of the day. I really started to believe she was involved with someone else. 2 days later, she called me, furious. She accused me of invading her privacy after she'd made it clear she didn't want me to. She blamed me for ruining her marriage and said I was the worst thing that ever happened to her. I was shocked that she was holding me responsible for the situation. She chose to lie to her husband and have an affair. If I had known she was married, I would have never gotten involved with her. The fact that she didn't even wear her wedding ring when we were together spoke volumes. After that call, I haven't heard from her. Her husband, however, went ahead and divorced her. He told me she's now living with her mom until she can find a new place. I couldn't help but laugh, remembering how she told me her parents were dead. I'm just relieved to have moved on from this chapter of my life. I'm looking forward to meeting someone who is genuinely single and finding happiness.